Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard Count. My name is Cade, that's Brandon, my co-host, and we are very excited to share this mock draft part 2 with you today. We're going 11 through 22 from the Chargers all the way to the Eagles, and we're going to piece together this mock draft one by one. Now to give you a quick recap of what we did in the first 10 picks, because that is important, right? You're like, okay, who's left? I understand, we're going to show you right here. Caleb at 1, no-brainer. May at 2, my opinion, also no-brainer. 3, the Patriots decided to go Marvin Harris Jr., safe pick right there. Odunze at 4, Jaden Daniels gets traded up from the Vikings. They come all the way up from 11 to 5, hand them a bunch of picks because, it's Jaden Daniels. Give me the Heisman any day of the week. He's going to go to Minnesota, do some great things. J.J. McCarthy, Daniel Jones, backup but eventual replacement on the way. Joe Alt, slam dunk tackle pick there at 7. Dallas Turner at 8. Malik Neighbors at 9. That is a scary wide receiver room. I'm scared as a Lions fan. And then 10, Fashanu, protect Aaron at all costs. 11 here, Brandon's picking odds. I'm picking evens. Brandon, the Chargers. What's the dude's name? He's kind of important. He went to Michigan. His name's Jim Harbaugh. He won the Natty, and he's here in LA. What a change of scenery, and he's here to win. Who is he picking at 11 after trading back from 5?
It's a little warmer than Michigan. All right, now, to get into it, they traded with the Vikings, right? And we said in the last video, if you watched 1 through 10, the Vikings have to give up 11 and 23. There's no way they jump from that spot all the way to 5 without giving up both of those. And we think that's why the reason they traded that for that pick in the first place was just stack this draft package that they're going to give this team. Either way, Jim Harbaugh, the new head coach, and the new GM have 2 beautiful first-round picks that they got from just moving back, and they have literally some of the best defensive players and one of the best weapons of offense available in college football right now going into the NFL. With 11, I think based on the things that you lost and the things the team needs, they need a lot, okay? Obviously, you're looking at wide receivers, but those wide receivers, those top kind of guys, you kind of gave up when you traded out of the top 10 because those guys aren't going to make it out of the top 10. Those top 3, the Harrisons, the Neighbors, and the Odunzes are not going to make it out of the top 10, in my opinion. So, I think you can wait on the Brock Bowers thing, and I think you got to go one of the best defensive players available besides Dallas Turner, and that's Teron Arnold.
Love
just
it.
Build a young cornerback room. Help Derwin out. You gotta hold some points off. Okay. Remember when the Raiders dropped like 68 on you? Okay. And Michigan. Jim Harbaugh loves his defense, so they got to start somewhere. Grab a young corner, the best corner on the board, arguably. Chargers get that at 11 with a pick still at 23 ahead. Hey, what are we doing with the Denver Broncos pick at 12?
Of course, Sean Payton has decided to take on the biggest cap hit, probably not in history, but it's got to be close. The Russell trade completely failed, as we can see. He is out of town and in Pittsburgh right now on like a $1 million contract because he doesn't need to get paid again. He already got paid very nicely. Now, at 12, you do not have a quarterback. It is a glaring issue. They're not even trying to hide it with signing someone to pretend like, oh, he might start for us. No, they just don't have a quarterback at all. I think that Sean Payton is going to take the guy that makes good decisions, is accurate, not the biggest arm, can definitely get it down the field, not a rocket arm though, but he's a good, solid pick, and he can be coached very well. That is a key word. He's very coachable, very, very coachable. Give me Bo Nix at 12, lock it in for the Denver Broncos. Denver, welcome to your new quarterback. No, not Drew Lock. No, not Russell Wilson. Bo Nix is your savior.
Bo Nix, baby. After all these years, you get Bo Nix. That's right, Denver. Let me hear it. Now, with the Raiders on the clock, Antonio Pierce, the first year of the head coach, he's looking for a lot of things, right? You need a lot of things as the Raiders. There's a few holes. Defensive line is not one of them, okay? So they're not really eyeing Latu right now, in my opinion. I've seen some drafts with him. Of course, Brock Bowers is sitting right there. Do they desperately need someone like Brock Bowers? No, not really. And then you're looking at the quarterbacks. And the quarterbacks here, you're looking at Michael Penix Jr., Spencer Rattler. These guys are all day 2 picks. So you got to think about protecting what you can at the moment and giving time to whoever is throwing the ball. And they got to pick one of these top offensive tackles, and there's a handful to pick from. 2 are only off the board. That leaves so many for them to pick from. But I think they go from one of the national title contending teams, Troy
Fatanu.
Yep, Fatanu out of Washington. So I think it's a no. It's one of those offensive tackles. It's one of them. But I think Fatanu goes to the Raiders right away to protect Aiden O'Connell, Penix. You never know what's going to happen in day 2, but at least you got a big offensive tackle to guard for whoever's throwing the ball. Cade, who's happening down in NOLA, down in the
Heck
Saints?
yeah,
What's
man.
happening right there? What do you
Shout
think?
out Jordan, Nola.
Shout out Jordan.
Just a beautiful place down in the boot.
We
in
know
the
he's
boot.
watching.
We know he's watching, guaranteed. At 14, the Saints, as you can see, O tackle, O guard, D tackle. They need all the trench work they can get, and potentially a quarterback, but it's kind of been swept up pretty nicely here with the rest of these teams. So we're just taking the best O-line prospect on the board, and in that guy, give me Tylese Fuega, however you want to say it. I'll get it right next time. I'm very sorry, sir, but give me him out of Oregon State. Very solid prospect right there, and they need to build on that O-line after missing on Trevor Penning a couple years back. They need it.
Yeah.
Get him in the building.
I forgot about Trevor Penning. Yeah.
Throwback.
They definitely need Talise.
15, Brandon.
Great
The
pick,
Colts.
Great pick. Now, the Colts are sitting here, and they just re-signed Michael Pittman to a big contract. They have a pretty decent defense. They're in a decent place for pick 15.
They are.
They do have Anthony Richardson coming back off of a long injury, so hype's going to be a lot around him. What they don't have is they have Jonathan Taylor behind him, Michael Pittman in front of him, running routes, but they're going to need a little bit more from that. And without moving a muscle, pick 15, one of the best offensive prospects we've seen in a while, just fell right into their lap. And I think Jim Irsay says it's a no-brainer. It's Georgia bred. Brock Bowers is an Indianapolis Colt. I think that is a great move for that team. They get a cornerstone on offense to help Anthony Richardson out, a big body that can block for him. Absolutely give me Brock Bowers to the Indianapolis Colts if he makes it that far. Cade,
Oh, yeah.
Seattle's sitting there at 16. What happens?
Brandon, first of all, great pick right there. I love that analysis. That was just textbook, right? Someone clipped that. That was beautiful.
play.
These guys should be a sportscaster. 16, Seattle's on the clock. They got a new head coach. Man, a new day and age. Pete Carroll is out, and the new guy is in. Mike McDonald is in the building. He used to be the DC of the Ravens. And with that alone, one of their needs is a D tackle. I think they're going to build at the D tackle. I think they're going to take my man. Of course I know his name. Let me pull it up right here. Byron Murphy out of Texas. Oh, no, by the way, it says Iowa on this. That is not correct. He's out of Texas. Byron Murphy II is going to Seattle, and he's going to make a big impact on that D-line. Much needed. Brandon, at 17 here, the Jaguars with their quarterback, T-Law. They got Calvin Ridley, and don't forget Gabe Davis on the big old contract. Where are they going now?
Well, they lost Calvin Ridley. Gabe Davis got a contract. They got Christian Kirk. They have Evan Ingram. Okay, they have, and they produced pretty well. What they kind of didn't do great in is holding the other team to less points, okay? And they're going to need to do that by taking a page out of the other's books, or maybe just one book. That's Jim Harbaugh's, the Chargers book. And they take the best corner available, and that's Quinion Mitchell, okay? I think it's a no-brainer. I say no-brainer a lot. This one, you can go Latu, you can go Verse. There's a bunch. You can go Mims. You can go Brian Thomas Jr. because they lost that big body wide receiver. But I think they like where they're sitting, and they want a cornerstone corner to play for them on defense. Doug Peterson likes those guys. Give me Mitchell out of Toledo, an absolute fire pick for the Jaguars.
Money.
Just sitting there, not even trading up for the second, if not the best corner in the league or in the draft this game.
League, you heard it here first.
I didn't say league. I'm sorry. Okay, what happens at 18 with Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
18 Joe Burrow Bengals. Obviously, a glaring hole here. D tackle DJ Reader is on his way to the Motor City Kitties, Detroit Lions. Oh, let's go, baby. Huge signing right there for the Lions. Good job, Brad Holmes. So that is much needed. Brandon, could you scroll back up and show me again what is those? So D tackle, wide receiver with the eventual leaving of Mr. Higgins, O tackle, cornerback, and guard. We got options here. in my opinion, I think you got to plug that hole immediately. Pause. In Johnny Newton out of Illinois, he is a
Hell yeah,
phenomenal
Johnny's gonna
prospect.
plug that hole.
Him and Mr. Murphy are fantastic D tackle prospects. I see big things coming here for Johnny Newton for the Bengals. Now, Brandon, at 19, Sean McVay, he I remember like a year ago, he was like, I might go to Amazon. This is too easy for me. He's back on the clock at 19, off a playoff loss. Still had a good year, though, making what he could of it. Brandon, what are we doing here?
Well, listen, I'm going to make it real simple. I'm going to talk like McVay really fast where you kind of think he's like on,
Speed or something?
Speed. But anyway, so offense, boom. Matthew Stafford still got at least 2 more years in him, maybe 1 depending on his injury. The offense kind of exploded this year with Kyron Williams. Their offensive line didn't do too bad. And then their wide receivers, of course, Cooper Kupp and Nakua, great things. They don't need to do anything on the offense. So just throw that out of your mind, okay, Rams? So what I'm looking at is Aaron Donald, one of the greatest defensive players to play the game, just retired.
Oof.
Your D-line is going to suffer hard, and you need to find someone to fill that gap. Now, you could think instantly go D-tackle and get someone instantly to fill that in. The best D-tackle available is, Tavondre Sweat. That's who it is, out of Texas. But I think they go with more agility and more speed and more versatile. I made that up on the spot. Thank you. I think it goes Jared Verse out of Florida State, edge rush, get a beefy D-line back in L.A., complete that cycle. Day 1, lock, move on in day 2 for the Rams. Cade, with the new look Steelers, what happens at 20?
Steelers got a new quarterback in Mr. Unlimited. Let him cook. Here we go. And they also got Fields in as the new prodigy coming up on the way. Now they need a tackle. Very important. Need a center. Also very important. Also take a cornerback, wide receiver, and safety too. But here, I think they take J.C. Latham to just build that O-line. You got to give Russ some time, right? You want this thing to work, you got to keep him upright. We know that for a fact. Get this guy some help. Let Russ cook in, what do they call it? It's not, what do they call Pittsburgh? They have a name for it.
The Steel City?
There you go. Good guy. See, this guy knows the Steel City. Get him some help in the Steel City. Brennan here, 21 at Miami. What is McDaniel thinking here? What is he cooking up?
Yeah. Well, as you can see, they need some line help. Okay. They still have Jalen Ramsey, so corner can wait. Wide receivers, you have Waddle, and you got Tyreek Hill. They can wait on those guys. I think they're looking to add a little bit more time for Tua and not get his head ripped off every game by some angry D-end. But anyway, I think they take the best offensive tackle, especially how they're sliding in this draft that we have. So many offensive tackles off the board. I think people are just protect. And Tua is also one of those fans of a big Georgia guy that goes by Amarius Mims. And this dude is massive if you haven't seen him. His combine was crazy. And his size is just unbeatable. Okay, so I think Mims, straight off the bat, take him. It fell into your lap. Tua has a better guy for protection. Cade, who's going to end this round off, end this video off with the Eagles? Who is going at 22 to the dreaded Philadelphia Eagles, some might say?
My man. So the Philadelphia Eagles, I feel it's like every single year they're pretty good, right? They're a pretty good team. They're always drafted in the 20s or sometimes even higher when they win the Super Bowl. Point is, the talent always falls to them. Yet again, Latu, not the biggest need, but man, as we see, they don't care. If defensive talent falls, they take it regardless. Latu is a new Philadelphia Eagle on that roster, and he's going to kill it. Now, Brandon, let's review this from 10 to 22.
Okay.
Boom. Brandon, run through it for me.
Okay, so Fashanu was taken to protect Rodgers. Kicking off the teams in 11, we got Teron Arnold, best corner back in the draft. Okay, goes to the Chargers, helps Jim Harbaugh build that defense up, start young again. Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon, a guy that's a good learner, listens, kind of someone that Sean Payton likes. Bo Nix to the Broncos. Troy Fatanu out of Washington goes to protect whoever's throwing the ball in the Raiders. The Saints do the same thing, okay? Derek Carr, kind of ass, right? But they got to give him time. So they got to give him Fuaga. okay, out of Oregon State. Give him some time. Give Kamara some time out of there. Brock Bowers lands in
Hold on.
Indianapolis.
Carr just caught a stray out of nowhere. Keep going.
Stray. Yeah, Stray's right. But hey, I think the Saints fans will agree with me. Right, Jordan? All right. So with review, I think at 15, Georgia, the Georgia tight end, the prodigy out of Georgia, Brock Bowers lands in the Colts' lap. They're celebrating over in Indianapolis for their new weapon for Anthony Richardson. Byron Murphy, the D tackle, not out of Iowa, out of Texas. Don't go to your draft party and say he's from Iowa. You're going to get slapped and laughed at, especially when he goes to the Seattle Seahawks at 16 to build up that new defense for that defensive-minded head coach that they just got. Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo lands at the Jaguars. Johnny Newton lands at the Bengals to help that filler for Reed, fill those holes that Reeder is no longer going to fill via Cade. Jared Verse, an edge out of Florida State, goes to the Rams to fill the hole of Anthony Richardson out of Aaron Donald, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, speaking a little fast. Mine's going like Sean McVay
you're
fast.
moving.
Okay, J.C. Latham to protect Russell, Mr. Unlimited, and potentially Justin Fields in the future. Just protect that O-line. Beefy, I know you guys want a wide receiver. Calm down. Can't have it all. Okay, Steel City, relax. And then Amarius Mims, Georgia, protect Tua. That's it. Don't let Tua get a concussion. As long as he has time to throw to Tyreek Hill, boom, money. All right? And
Money.
then Latu, edge, UCLA, Eagles take him. Howie Roseman loves those defensive stars that guys slide to him. They don't jump up for much. Latu, boom, you're an Eagle. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Hard Count. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, comment your favorite pick. If you disagree, if you agree, we don't care. We're going to do a lot more of these before the draft. And if you guys, just type it on. We'll probably respond because, we love you guys. And guys, appreciate it. If you guys haven't watched day one, our 1 through 10 picks, go back and watch that. Before watching the next one, we have our 23 through 32 picks coming right after this episode. Guys, we appreciate you so much for watching. We love you guys so much. And be sure to tell someone you love them. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.